For last season's Lakers, hitting shots from the perimeter was a big struggle relative to the rest of the league as they finished 29th out of 30 teams in percentage, 34.5%, making the 20th most triples, 10.0 per game. However, the shooting got considerably better as the season wore on. We'll get to that in a moment. And LA then added the biggest offensive difference maker possible in free agency, LeBron James. One of his primary strengths is drawing the attention of the defense, exploiting any mistakes and finding teammates for open looks. It's certainly true that LeBron's teams have benefited from putting elite, known shooters around him in the past, guys like Mike Miller, Ray Allen and Kyle Korver. But for this season, being careful to maintain cap space for the 2019 free agency class, the Lakers signed different types of complementary free agents to one-year deals. Rajon Rondo, Lance Stephenson and Michael Beasley may not fit that shooting spacing model, even with Beasley hitting nearly 40% from three last season at a low volume, but they're versatile, they're switchable, and they can run. To try to play the Warriors at their own game is a trap, said GM Rob Pelinka after the signings. No one's gonna beat them at their own game. That's not to say that Pelinka and president of basketball ops Magic Johnson won't acquire a dead-eye shooter during the season or next summer, of course, and they'll have the cap flexibility to do so. Regardless, there's more shooting on the current roster than some might think. Here are some reasons for optimism for LaL's three-point shooting in 2018-19. LA got much better as last season went on, going from 33.3%, 29th, before the All-Star break to 36.8%, 10th, after, making 9.2 per game, 23rd, pre-break and 11.8, 7th, after. The players most responsible for the late season improvement are back. Brandon Ingram shot 46.2% after the break. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope hit 42.3%. Josh Hart was at 39.3%. And Kyle Kuzma 38.5%. Kuz and KCP tied for the team lead with 159 made threes apiece. Hart ripped the summer league up and looked comfortable draining threes, both spotting up and off the dribble. Rookie Svi Mykhailiuk was among the best pure shooters in the draft, and his shot looked great at the Las Vegas Summer League. The number 47 pick hit 40.8% from three with a high volume of attempts shown by his 2.9 makes per game in 40-minute games. To put that into context, only 7 NBA players averaged more than 2.9 makes per game in the 2017-18 season. Fellow rookie Mo Wagner has some potential as a stretch 5, having converted 39.4% threes as a junior at Michigan, while Beasley, 39.5% from three last year, provides another stretch option to Kuzma at the 4, and against certain opponents, perhaps he could play some 5, even with a small lineup. It could be quite long going with Ingram, KCP, Kuzma, LeBron, Beasley, for example. Don't count Ivica Zubac out as a three-point shooting big. Though he's been best as a roller to the rim, he has a soft touch and has been working on his three-ball this offseason. It's often easier for bigs to add some distance to their jumpers because of their, typically, strong base and height requiring less body movement to get the ball to the rim. See Brook Lopez, Mark Gasol or any number of centers who seemingly developed a three-point shot overnight. The presence of LeBron and Rondo figures to benefit LA's shooters, given the playmaking ability of the game's best player and one of the game's best passers. Nonetheless, the Lakers don't have that one shooter who strikes immediate fear into opponents, at least to start the season. I asked Rondo, after he signed with the Lakers, how he felt about the seemingly increasing importance of perimeter shooting in the NBA. "It's kinda crazy if you think you're going to outshoot Golden State," he replied. "They proved it 3 or 4 years straight that no team can really shoot with them. There's other ways you have to try and beat those guys. I think we're going to try and crack that code." Rondo, of course, doesn't shoot the three well relative to most NBA point guards, weighing in at 39% for his career. Lonzo Ball, meanwhile, hit just 30.5% of his triples. Lakers assistant Jesse Mermis explained how that impacts the way coaches go about their game planning. "Offensively, what you're trying to coach for all those guys doesn't have to do with position or player or shooting ability," he said. "It's more shot selection. What is a great shot for our team? What's an okay shot to a bad shot? When you do it that way," head coach Luke Walton, especially, and I think our staff as a whole, aren't into limiting guys' potential and what they can and cannot do. We want to show belief and support and confidence in our players. That, in short, means encouraging all players, including Ball and Rondo, to shoot when they're open. And Lonzo actually had some good stretches shooting threes as a rookie, and the coaches were pleased with his continued confidence to put the ball up even through cold stretches. "We remember how he struggled from distance to start the season, hitting just 24.3% in November through what seemed like a big magnifying glass on his form. But from December 12-23, he hit at least 2 triples in 6 straight games, converting 18 of 40, 45.0% before injuring his shoulder and missing the next 6 games. Immediately upon his return, Ball hit 11 threes in his next 4 games, including 4 triples in a win against San Antonio, highlighted by his repeated three-point makes late in the fourth quarter. And then, Ball hurt his knee in the next game at Dallas on January 13 and played in only 16 more games for the rest of the season. In other words, just as Ball was starting to get comfortable within the offense and with his shot, he found himself on the bench, injured. Continuity of play is important, not just for individual players, but for the team, and that may have shown itself with L.A.'s early season shooting struggles. What I'd attribute that to is the beginning of the season is a learning process, and it has a lot of ups and downs because everyone is trying to figure out where they can help the team the best and fit in within the framework, said Mermis. Especially teams that don't have continuity, where you're putting a bunch of new pieces in like we're doing and did last year. There's no miracle cure for that. But once guys settle into their role and figure out where they fit in, there's better chemistry, and guys are more comfortable. That comfortability creates more confidence, which creates more made shots. That's just a time thing, and as long as everyone is trying to do their best to get to that point, I think we have guys that will knock down shots. Applying that to the coming season, there will likely be an adjustment time as last year's remaining starters, Ball, Ingram, and KCP, get used to at least 2 new starters, LeBron and whoever replaces Brook Lopez. On one hand, continuity and cohesion are there with Kuzma and Hart, who promise to get a lot of minutes, as does Rondo. On the other, we'll see how the minutes sort out between newcomers Mikhailiuk, Wagner, Beasley, and Lance Stephenson, just 28. 9% from 3 last season. How quickly things mesh won't just impact how much LA are able to improve upon last season's 29th place spot in the three-point rankings, but also how many games the Lakers can win.